What's up guys, this is ScherBR talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I will show you how I defeated Sigfrei Remembrance battle on stage number 25 with a SWORD team. This is actually pretty easy because we have access to an AoE instant kill attack with a Platinum style, that is Albert. But since this is the first video, I will explain how to deal with these bosses. Sorry about the delay, but I had to deal with a storm here in Brazil and I lost electricity for more than 1.5 days. Well, Sigfrei is a spellcaster. He's going to attack you with spells, so you need to be buffing will instead of endurance, but he also has some direct physical attacks. You should not care too much about that. It's all about the spells, and he can even apply paralyze. It's kind of hard, but he self-buffs. If you do not buff break, and if you do not debuff, or if you're not buffing your will, you can get inflicted if some turns passes. Well, Sigfrei does not have any gimmick. His gimmick is his minions. We have two different minions during the fight. They may have different attacks, it doesn't matter much. They are not much of a problem. They can attack you. One of them will get action order increase, and the other one will apply damage block with 3 different blocks on Sigfrei. And you cannot stop this. This will happen on turn 1, then on turn 4, then on turn 7 and beyond. And you have to instant kill them, or else Sigfrei will absorb them and become stronger, to a point where it will become impossible to survive during the fight. So, the trick here is to bring instant kill and characters that can resist everything that happens during the fight. Well, in this scenario, I brought the Here Guard Focus formation because I really like this one. It gives you endurance and will buffs to the frontal units, also defense to decrease damage, and in the back row we get 75% status increase that we'll be using our nukers. In this scenario, well, I'm bringing my Asellus in the front line because she can use Rising Nova Plus to remove buffs. I have Plume Dance that can apply intelligence debuff, but sometimes it may not even work. Don't worry if it doesn't, because I'm all for buff break and that is enough. If you wait a little more and have higher status, she will have high enough intelligence, but I didn't need. Then there's Albert. Well, for instant kill you don't need much intelligence. This is the newest Albert and he works, but you can even use his Platinum style because of Victor's Blade being easy to achieve. And well, after he uses and kills the minions, he can actually use Left Fork. When you kill one minion, you get 5 BP. If you kill both in a turn, you get 10 BP back. And if you don't have this Asellus, you can bring Urpina with access to Rising Nova Plus, or even Rick. Now, there is Polka in the middle. I'm using the Chef version, but Rag Robin also works because of Steelblade Phoenix to heal. And if you don't have both Polka and Mirza, place Mirza in this slot and use Mirza as your main healer. Here I'm using Mirza as a damage dealer, then Polka is filling the healer shoes. Here in the back row I have my damage dealers. That is Bertrand. Well, he is a very strong nuker and he has access to Tenebrae Glaces that debuffs intelligence, something that it's pretty useful in this fight. But if you debuff too much, he's gonna use the Fire Weakness. But just keep reapplying that. And Bertrand needs to be equipped to resist all types. It's kind of hard, but that will decrease damage further and even has a chance to evade. That's the same thing with Mirza, and I also need specific equipment. And Mirza will use Heroic Stance and sometimes Left Fork for full damage. If he changes and heals, good, but you don't actually need that. During this fight, I brought some equipment to decrease elemental damage, but it's hard to equip some of his styles. Sigfrei does not use Sun Element, so don't worry too much about that, but he can also use Fire, Lightning a lot. Bring accessories that give you resistance to ailments, especially those that give you some element resistance as well. From Conquest we have plenty. And then I gave something to my Albert. He is a little squishy. Some resistance for elements is going to be nice. Polka does not need to resist fire. He already negates. And we have Bertrand here with lots of good equipment, and Mirza as well. Okay, the fight starts, and just remember to kill the minions as soon as possible. I'll try to use my Plume Dance. Even if it doesn't work, I'll try to debuff Sigfrei when needed. Then Victor's Blade to kill them. Now Polka uses Steelblade Phoenix, and Bertrand already opens with Tenebrae Glaces to debuff intelligence. Mirza will use Heroic Stance. Try to use some skills with high BP cost because you're going to get 10 BP back just by killing the minions, so don't let it flow. Now, one of the minions have action order increase, sometimes they will be able to attack you. I managed to debuff Sigfrei, but sometimes I can't. It's because my Asellus doesn't have such a high intelligence yet. On the start of the fight, Bertrand is still a little squishy, but he gets better within time. This is the direct attack that buffed his own intelligence. Polka can counter, that's good. Keep an eye on this. Okay, we just healed it. And now you're using Tenebrae Glaces to debuff intelligence again. Sigfrei will likely use Defy Weakness in the next turn, but it's still nice to always try to land these attacks. Now, Asellus can just use Rising Nova to remove that buff. Albert's gonna use Left Fork. I have Blade Phoenix again, Tenebrae Glaces again. Mirza has 20 BP, so it's time for him to start to nuke with his Left Fork. Don't use Heroic Stance on turn 2. Use it later. Now, I just remove it buffs, since he just used Defy Weakness as well. Albert, doing some good damage as well, with Left Fork, just buffing his own intelligence, and even got a counter because of that. Psycho Noise will debuff intelligence and will. It's hard when you get will debuffs because damage just increases. He also has Churning Earth that will decrease your endurance instead. Got a combo, we get better debuffs, better effects, that's nice. Left Blade didn't have a chase, we already know, but that was easily like 700,000 damage just by it alone. He already did like 35% of the damage we needed. This time I can use Plume Dance. Then I'll use, actually, yeah. Albert has to save VP, so use Defensive Sword. Blade Phoenix again. Bertrand has to use Frostbite to save VP. And Mirza can actually use Left Fork once more. Plume Dance, let's see if he debuffs. This time it didn't. Like I said, my Asellus has some problems. If you have her Rapier style, it may increase her intelligence further via level ups. And then just see if you can get enough intelligence. Okay, we didn't get a chase yet. Now, you saw Curse of Fatigue. This is something that will happen on turn 4 in the next cycles as well. Sigfrei will counter direct attacks. You can see it here. It will also nullify attacks that have blunt damage. Be careful with that. And counters with a physical attack that actually deals a lot of damage. So, Plume Dance again. Don't use Rising Nova on this turn. Albert is gonna use Victor's Blade to kill the minions. You can even use on Overdrive if you want, but it doesn't matter much. Since Polka cannot do much, he can just use Hearty Stick. Then Bertrand can use his Tenebrae Glaces that is indirect. Alongside Mirza that uses Heroic Stance this time, because I don't want to use direct attacks. The enemy attacked you because it has action order increase when it's summoned. Okay, that was like 2 hits on Sigfrei. There's only 1 damage block now. That will be removed by Bertrand. First hit, it's gone. Now we're gonna do damage. You will debuff, then use Frost Fire. Get a chance. Now, I have 4 characters already on Overdrive. And by turn 5, we can actually kill it. That's right. So, I will use my New Year start. This is a little stronger than Rising Nova Plus, if I remember correctly. Yes, it's Triple S power. Albert will use Left Fork once more. Polka will use Rising Kuroge Wagyu to get some attack boost. Other Tenebrae Glaces, and Mirza will finally use Left Fork. If my party doesn't kill Mirza, will do. Another very good character to use in the place of Asellus is Medea. She's a very good debuffer and has higher intelligence. Flame on X. That's right. Now we have Mirza. But he has delay. We have to wait for Sigfrei attacks to end. But you won't survive past this turn, Sigfrei. It's all over for you. With all that said, it's the end of the video. I'll be showcasing different weapon types with different strategies. I'll also try to do more free-to-play strategies later, but I'll start with my best teams. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, we have a link here on the description of the video. I really hope to see you soon in the next video or live stream.